Hey folks, this is not Kana, this is Kibbles, and you're in the Kibbles corner today. Yeah, Kana's feeling a little bit under the weather, so I'm taking over her shift, but I have a special guest with me. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, this is Jason Douglas. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm pretty good, man. I feel honored that you guys would ask me to be on your show. So I'm
Well,
feeling
it's an
good.
honor to have you.
Thanks.
So, any projects you've been working on recently that we can just start off with? Let's just get right into it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in and out of Funimation. You know, I'm here in North Texas, so I do a lot of work with them now. Gosh, I'm just trying to think. I've recently we've worked on, I think, a show called Darker Than Black. Of course, I've worked with on Goemon and Full Metal Alchemist, Rosario plus Vampire. So those are all titles that are in the mix, and I think some of them are already starting to be released. And of course, there's Casher and Sins and Initial D. Of course, Trinity Blood's already been out, but since we relocated up here about a year and a half ago, and I just kind of slid right in up at the Funimation place. So
Right. I noticed. I was looking at your Wikipedia and I was noticing but you did a bunch of roles for Funimation so far. But
I've done a few, yeah. I mean, most of that stuff that you're looking at is probably with ADV Films. You know, I was there from about '96 or '97, really right up until the time I left Houston, and so I've kind of lost count of the titles that I've done with them, but that's kind of where I cut my teeth was with
right.
ADV Films. So.
Do you have any roles that you like more than others per se? I mean, a lot of people usually get the answer, well, I like them all because they all pay, but
Isn't that
everyone has
funny,
their
right?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you know, of course you have your favorite roles because you have roles that you actually get into. There have been shows when I really actually got into the show, like the plot of the show, and it was just cool to
Really.
be in it because you know when you're the funny thing is when you're in that booth, especially back when, you know, ADV days, and, you know, it would be dark in the booth and the only thing that you'd be looking at was like the screen. And so it was almost like this weird kind of VR, you know, experience. And you're in
Right.
there for hours. You're not just in there for like half an hour. You'd be in there for like 3 or 4 hours. And, you know, by the time you left, you know, you feel like you're actually in the show. That sounds
Yeah.
kind of nutty, but you actually feel like you've been in that world. And so, I mean, it really sucks to be on a show that drags because you don't want to be there. But
Oh
but
yeah.
but a lot of times, yeah, you get on a show and you really dig it. You get into the plot and the characters, especially if it's well written and well drawn. And but you know, I've definitely had some roles that I've had a lot of fun playing. And what's interesting is they're not necessarily the ones that I always hear about from, you know, if I hear from someone that's a fan that says, hey, you know, you were great in this, and I think that's cool. I wonder about the other thing that came out, you know, that I did that people forgot about.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Louis the Rune Soldier, that's one that sticks out when I think back on the stuff that I've done. That was a lot of fun. Gosh, what else? You know, I did one with John Swayze down in Houston called Wandaba Style, and I played a character called Michael Hanagata. And he was this sleazy record producer, you know, trying to
Right.
put together a female pop group. And I love doing that role and others similar because of, you know, a lot of times you just get hired to do something like your own voice. And
Yeah.
that's cool. But every once in a while you get a chance to do something that really is completely different. And we morphed, you know, my voice into kind of something that was like this, you know, I
Yeah.
am Michael Hanagata, sleazy record producer. You know, it was
Yeah.
completely off track. So, it's kind of tough to do as well, but.
It always is the sleazy record producer that wants to put together a female pop group, isn't
Of
it?
course, why not? Yeah, exactly. But you know, when I think back, I think some of the characters I did when I first started out at ADV, like Leon from Bubblegum Crisis and Marin from Sorcerer Hunters, those kind of have a special place, you know, because those were the 3 or 4 shows I was doing when I started. and really when ADV was just getting going. I mean,
Right.
they were kind of in their infancy stage at that point as well. And so, they were only doing, they could only do, 2 or 3 shows at the most, kind of at a time.
Right.
And so it was cool to kind of be a part of that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you got started, do you have like a story of how you got started, or like a special like, well, I ran into this person and
Right.
yada yada.
I'm sure that's everybody's story. I'm sure everybody has their kind of story about how they got started. And a lot of us who started out in Houston, of course, it was ADV who, they were just a couple of fans that as you all I'm sure have heard by now, just started ordering titles and dubbing them on the cheap. And I was in college. I was working for a moving company of all things, just for money, and
Yeah.
I had 2 really good friends that were working with me. One was a guy named Gil Lundy, who is now known as Brian Lundy. That's a whole separate story, and I'm not sure, what all the details are. But
Right.
Gil was a fantastic actor and a really terrific voice guy as well, and was working with ADV in its very early stages. And he was telling me about this company, and it was intriguing to me. And then later on, another friend of mine named Lou Temple, who is now in LA, and he's doing a lot of horror genre stuff and whatnot. But he was in Houston, and he was also doing ADV stuff. And he kind of was like, you need to come and do this. In the meantime, I was doing theater. And at one point, I finally decided to go down and audition. And Matt Greenfield remembered me from a performance I had done. There's this play called The Complete Works of William Shakespeare Abridged. And in like
Right.
2 hours, you cover all the plays. And it's hilarious. It's very kind of improv, sketch comedy based. And he had seen me do that and didn't know how to get in touch with me, but had wanted apparently to get in touch with me about coming to ADV. So when I came in, he was, I guess, surprised to see me, and I got cast. It was Kimaguri Orange Road, I guess the OVA, the movie, playing the lead Kyosuke. So that was like right off the bat, and
Wow.
that's kind of how I got started. And so that was cool. That's still like, I still love to kind of sometimes pop that in and check it out, because that was another one that like I kind of dug the story. It was this sweet kind of, young love kind of story, coming of age, and it was cool. Not the typical thing. So
Now, prior to your involvement in the whole ADV thing, did you know about anime? Did you watch any? Have you heard of it before, or was it just this whole new thing for you?
yeah, sure. I mean, but at that time we're talking like mid '90s. So prior to that, the only anime that we really got was, the example everybody always uses is like Voltron, but truly like stuff like that and Speed Racer and getting it on, whatever your local like UHF channel was or something like that. So
Right.
I had an awareness of it, but I really didn't. I really wasn't into it. I can't say that I was into it because, to be honest with you, the fandom at that point hadn't really developed. And I think companies like ADV get a lot of credit for actually developing the fandom, because they kind of primed the pump. They made
Right.
a lot of these titles available that really just at that time weren't available. And honestly, if you think about it, I mean, none of our internet connections back then were fast enough to really stream these titles either. So they were really the company and others like them that really kind of primed the pump and made anime kind of the niche genre that it is today. And
Right.
we didn't have anime fan clubs back then. You didn't have a lot of fan clubs on college campuses, and all of that just kind of came after we started doing what we were doing. So
Right. But do you have any current projects that you're working on? Or actually, did I ask you that at the beginning? I think I asked you that
well,
at the
you know
beginning
what,
of the interview.
you asked me that, and I rattled off a few titles. But I am working. Right now I'm really busy working on a play actually at Dallas Theater Center.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's one I'm sure a lot of people have heard of, because it's a 70-year-old play called Arsenic and Old Lace, and It's a play that has been for at least the last 40 years, or maybe 20, 30 years, kind of been a staple of high school and community theaters. And being the 70th anniversary, a lot of larger theaters are creating a revival of the play. And
Right.
so I'm playing a pretty nice role in the show, and it's going to be in Dallas. It opens on the 4th. And it runs through March 13th, and it's going to be a big show. It's got some Tony Award-winning Broadway designers and actors. Betty Buckley, I mean, my gosh, she's famous. For many years, a singer and has been in films. Tova Feldshuh, who's a well-known Broadway veteran, and so I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be a part of this cast. It's fantastic, and so that's kind of taken up all of my time. Mondays, I'm so glad to talk to you guys today because honestly, I've been there every day until about 10 or 11 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's crazy. And, but I'm doing that. I continue to try to get film and television work, which is a tough thing to do from North Texas, but we do what we can.
So for film and television work, what have you done in the past, or what are you currently doing?
It's a good question. Since I'm doing this show, I really can't go.
Oops. Well, I think I may have lost him, so we're going to go ahead on a little bit of a short break. We'll be back in just a moment to find out what happened to our guest. All right.
Hi, I'm Masako X, proud member of the Team 4-Star Posse. When I'm not gallivanting around voicing naive Saiyans, perverted old men, and a bit of the odd vocal gender bending, I like to listen to 91.8 The Fan. They got everything I need to help me breeze through my editing with smiles and sunshine. I like to sing the odd karaoke, as well as review anime on my show Anifile, available at masakox.blip.tv, where I showcase the latest releases from Japan. Plus, if you ever wanted to get into voice acting, I also host the show Masterbox, where I aim to get you started in this fun online activity. So with that promotional canvassing out of the way, I return you to this stellar programming on 91.8 The Fan. Catch you later, and happy listening.
And we are back. We finally tied all those little knots together and everything, and we got him back.
Wow, that was amazing that you did all that.
Yes, I dug into the internet, into that series of tubes there, and I fixed them up. But anyway, as we were talking behind the scenes, we were talking about ADV and kind of like what happened to them. But I'm not exactly sure what happened to them, and we were kind of speculating. Oh my goodness! We have lost him again. Okay, well, we are going to be. Oh,
I'm
there.
back.
You are. You're back.
That was magical. I hope you don't lose me again.
No,
I'm going to blame you guys.
That is definitely going to be my fault. I didn't use duct tape. I used masking tape on those pipes and tubes.
Yeah. Oh man, come on! You got to graduate to like Gorilla Tape.
Oh man, sorry.
Yeah,
but,
that's all right.
Anyway, but oh my goodness, behind the scenes we were talking about ADV and sort of like what happened to them.
That was a fascinating conversation. It's too bad we didn't record any of it.
Actually, we do have it being recorded.
Oh, okay,
we
cool.
record all of our interviews to put them up on the website later.
Oh, okay, awesome. So, do we need to cover that territory, or do you have?
We don't necessarily need to recover that territory.
Yeah.
The fanatics will hear it when they get to listen to the interview.
Oh, so that's a little enticement to become a fanatic, so you can hear all our kind of like inside conversation.
Yes, the fanatics get all of the behind the scenes parts of the interviews. Not all of them. Sometimes we would cut out parts where people are like, "Hey, don't talk about this, and don't ask me about this and whatnot," and all of the fun times. But there were some pretty fun parts. But let's not go into those. This is your interview.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
But last time we were on air, we asked you about your live action work, your TV and film, and you started talking about it, and then Skype decided to die.
All right.
So
well,
would you like to recap?
Sure. I'll just let you know. I mean, a lot of folks know about my I had a nice little role in Sin City a few years ago, and that led to some other nice things for me. But recently, just in the past year, I was on Chase, the new show on the new Bruckheimer show that's on NBC, and in an episode called Havoc. And I don't know if you can still find that on on the internet. Where do you go to watch?
Hulu.
Hulu or on NBC. It was on for a while, so I don't know if it's still there.
Right.
And The Good Guys. I did an episode of The Good Guys, which was a lot of fun. And of course, I was I had a nice little role in Machete. Robert Rodriguez likes to, he likes to kill me in creative ways. So if you haven't seen that one, it's definitely worth checking out. And before that, there's a lot of things out on disc now that I've done in the past few years that you can either get via Netflix or whatever. I don't know if they're streaming or not, but there was a really cool miniseries. If you're into just sci-fi stuff, there was one I did for the Sci-Fi Network called The Lost Room a few years ago, and then more recently there was one called The Librarian, The Curse of the Judas Chalice, and that was the third in a series of films with Noah Wyle. It's kind of this little action adventure, Indiana Jones meets Night at the Museum kind of themed deal. But that was a lot of fun. And shot that in New Orleans, so
really sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and for me, I have kids, so it's nice to do something every once in a while that they can watch.
Oh yeah.
So that's a nice one. I can't let them watch Machete.
No, that I've seen some clips and commercials, and no.
Yeah.
I don't think I even want to watch that movie.
Yeah, exactly. It was a fun idea. It was, if you know anything about the, it started out as a trailer in the Grindhouse films that he did with Quentin Tarantino, and they just liked the idea of it. They thought it was so funny that they thought, who would be crazy enough to make this as a movie, and so they just did it, And
it's fun stuff like that happens sometimes.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, it's good to have things, your kids can watch. I've got a shelf in here of anime that I've done, and honestly, they can't watch like 90% of it. But there's some stuff that they do like, like I've played, what is this? Of course, there's Hello Kitty up there. Which
really?
I did.
Yeah, I did.
Kitty. Yeah, ADV did some Hello Kitty stuff a few years ago, with Monica Rial, and so I did a little of that. So I've got some of those discs, and my little girl, when she was 4 and 5, she loved it, and Kaleidostar and Princess Nine. So there's some stuff up there that they can watch, but not much. Not much.
Well, when they grow up, they'll be able to see the rest.
Yeah, sure. I've got to pass this collection off to somebody.
Yeah. But we are running short on time today. So before we let you go, we have one tradition that we make all of our guests go through. It's a little bit of a 918 The Fan rite of tradition, or traditional rite, or whatever you want to call it. But we ask all of our,
whatever you call it. That's cool. Whatever you
we ask all of our guests to do a bump for us live on air, so we can get any mistakes or anything. Would you like to do that for us?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Sure. Okay. What they say is, what was it? I don't even remember. Isn't that great? I'm just
awesome.
You can tell that I'm the backup interviewer.
How did I get the backup interviewer, Zach?
Oh, I'm sorry. Jackie is right. She's under the weather today.
That's all right. You've been just fine. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. But the bump goes, my name is, you would insert your name there. I do ADV films, Funimation, ADR work, and blah, blah, blah. And you're listening to 91.8 The Fan.
All right.
So whenever you're ready.
Hi, this is Jason Douglas, and I'm a voice actor when I can, working with Funimation and ADV Films, and I'm glad you're listening to 91.8 The Fan. Stay tuned for more.
Well, I'm glad they're all listening too.
What's that?
I'm glad they're all listening too.
Oh yeah, me too. So how many fans do you think are going to be listening to this interview? I mean, how many downloads do you get on this?
Downloads, it's actually hard to tell per se. I can go later on after we're back behind the scenes and check out some of our numbers, but that would be a little difficult to get right now.
Well, it's a cool website. I dig it, and I like it. And
thank you very much.
I like the music, so I'm going to tell people about it if they haven't heard.
Well, thank you.
And,
we will tell people about your work, and we'll tell them to go buy Hello Kitty DVDs.
Thank you, and I dare you to play that song request in case anybody's interested. In
Definitely will. We'll see what we can do about getting that band on the station for you.
All right, cool. Thanks, man.
Cool. It was great having you.
Thanks a lot. It's been fun.
All right, everybody, keep it tuned to 918 The Fan. Everything you want and nothing you don't.